So what's it going? It's going live on Facebook or what?
Facebook, YouTube, and we're live now. We are live tonight once again. Shooting the Shizz, DK and the Schwag with Brett Wagner, our special guest, one of the coolest guys I've met at a convention. Actor, the Sasquatch, Mr. Clean. Played Michael Myers in
Not really.
Halloween Kills a little bit. You had a cool scene though, what you did.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason. You've just pretty much done everything. Oh man, if Beatrice is watching and she sees that, she's not going to be happy.
His eyes a little wonky. Hold on, let's fix it. Oh,
wow. Oh, you're just messing them all up. You're beating the hell out of them. But Doug we're live tonight with Doug Tait, the short master too.
Dude. F this
there
guy.
You go.
Doug is more known for his role on Drake and Josh, but that's just one of my favorites.
That's a throwback for sure.
Or Mighty Med. Those are two. I was doing some homework on IMDb today, and I'm like, I know me and Doug have been acting a lot, for 20 years out here. We probably did some of the same shows, and I was like, oh, Mighty Med, Drake and Josh. Sure. But
yeah,
how you doing, Doug?
I'm doing good, dude. It looks like we're finally doing some shows together. I can't believe dude. Come on.
Our like 11 years.
Our first show together, I don't know if Brett told you this, was Horror Hound 2011. That's when I met him in the car ride over. We hit it off. And here we are. We hadn't done a show since. And literally in 2 weeks, we're together at the same show we met each other 12 years later. That's crazy, dude.
How cool is that? Yeah, Brett's been all
pretty
over.
Nuts.
He's killing it on these conventions lately. I'm excited for him. And always good to see you, which I'll be seeing you at least one convention, Crypticon Denver this year.
Yes.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah, for sure, man.
So Doug, we both grew up in the Valley, right? The mighty San Fernando Valley, the home of Valley Girls and Doug Tait, and we did go to competing high schools though.
I know.
I went to Crespi. Doug went to Alamany. Now I'm like, 11 years his senior, at least, in high school. However, when you were in your 6'4", you're a tall guy. In high school, were you playing sports? Were you doing the jock thing?
I was a jock. I was a basketball player. I was a pretty good basketball player. Now looking at kids these days in high school, though, man, they're on a whole nother level. Their training is on a whole nother level. We used to go to the weight room and do like curls and bench press. These guys are doing bands where they're getting pulled and running and shooting, and like it's just like the athleticism from the way they train is just so much better than what we had in high school. But yeah, I played basketball all 4 years.
Yeah, 100%. Did you think that was going to be something you were going to do college wise? And
yeah, early on, I thought I'm going to play pro. That's what I want to do. I'm going to be a pro basketball player, and then it comes to a point when I got about my sophomore year that I realized I'm good, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. I like entertaining, and I didn't think of it as a career, but I knew that like I wanted to do something. So at first it was like stand up. And then me and my buddy Jack Links, who we started acting in high school, he found an ad in the newspaper, and it was like for to be an extra. And he showed up one day and he's like, dude, I'm going to go to the set and we're going to be an extra. And it's literally a film with Corey Feldman, and we were an extra in it. And that was my first taste. And I was like, I was hooked, Mr. Clean.
Everybody, I posted that. I shared it out today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Of our guest, yeah.
Yes.
So they're knowing you as Mr.
Once
Clean.
you got a little taste in high school. So were you in like high school plays and stuff like that? Or you?
So that's the thing. As you know, back in our day, if you played sports, it kind of like the theater people, we didn't mix. I think it's different now. And not that I thought I was better. It was just like, I don't want to do that. But we had a film class, and I was doing everything in the film class. I was the guy they came to, and for doing little short films and whatnot. So that kind of started it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Did you
different
know
time
that?
back then in high school.
So is there any acting that ran in the family? Or I mean, or just this was just something that you caught the bug for you? You loved it? Because I like that you say entertainer, because you and I both, I just don't say we're actors, right? Some people are just actors. That's what they do and they act. But you and I, and especially you do a whole gamut of things. I mean, from your shorts, from commercials to the directing to the stunt work.
Yeah, no, totally. You're totally an entertainer too, and I could see it in your personality when you do your thing. Like, I can't do that. Like, you have a skill at that, you know?
You are just as you see. Listen, you are just as good at what I can do as what you can do.
Oh,
In
you
fact,
got that down. I'm gonna be here. The
well,
Schwag coming at you.
but
See you there. Like, I can't do that, dude.
you
Like,
can do that. You've done it before. You just do it a different way than I do it. That's all.
Way. Exactly. That's what it is. I do it a different way.
So when you let's say one of the questions I like to ask, in fact, I'm saying this like I like to ask, and we've never asked, what did you get your SAG card on?
Okay, so when I got out of high school, I started working at Universal Studios, and I was performing, doing Frankenstein. I did Harry and the Henderson show. I played these crazy tourist characters, my brother. And while I was doing that, I was doing basketball commercials. So they Taft-Hartley me on a basketball commercial. It was a Navy commercial, and that's how I got
very cool.
Yeah. Yes, and Taft-Hartley, for those of you don't know, it's when you're non-union, they want you for something, so they pay a fee,
a fine,
fine to get you in it. You know, so much harder, or is it harder nowadays? I don't know, to get your set. I think they're handing them out now.
You know, it's funny because I mean, I remember when I first started acting, I went to I was John Robert Powers modeling thing.
Oh my gosh, dude! Oh my
the Sherman Oaks Galleria, and I they had an acting class, and John, I get in this acting class, and it's all kids trying to be models and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I paid the money, like $700. I'm going to stay the course, and it was a weird class. However, that's what got me. I got a commercial agent out of it because of our acting teacher knew a commercial agent, and for a year and a half, I couldn't book anything. I was a new guy in town. I was big, had a flat top. I was a new giant, 6'5" guy. Yeah. I was auditioning for so much, and I almost gave it up. And then I got a Tostitos commercial, and I had one line. I even got cut out of it, but that's how I got Taft-Hartley, and now the rest is history. 30-something years later.
Yeah,
you didn't tell people you graduated from modeling school? Come on now.
Well, it was
John Robert Powers. I went to that class in high school. It was a scam. It's a total scam. It's like they get people in. If you ever hear of John Robert Powers and they try to get you in, don't do it. They build up on your hope of, man, you're amazing. Okay, you got it. And then they're like, okay, so it's going to cost $700. We need you to get in a class. You got to shoot with this photographer. They give you this whole spiel, but they've already played up this thing that makes you feel like you're going to like kill it in Hollywood. It's a scam. Anyways, we both did it. I think I was at the Sherman Oaks Mall too, dude. I went to that one. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Well, you were saying you did the basketball. Now I got to touch on this. Did you ever feel shorter than when you were in that commercial with Kevin Garnett and Charles Barkley? I've never seen you look so small. I've been next to you, and I'm not a short guy. But you're tall.
And also with the Sasquatch, I got like 2-inch, 3-inch lifts. The head is like 3 inches, so I'm like a good 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9. And Kevin Garnett's 7'2", man. I mean, he made me look tiny. That's the only time that happened. Exactly. It was crazy. Those guys were awesome. Charles Barkley and Kevin Garnett talked shit the entire day, just back and forth. It was hilarious.
That must have been a fun time, though. That must have been a fun commercial to shoot, just to being on the court with those two legends. And you kind of see it with Shaq and Charles when they do their back and forth. So I can only imagine with Garnett, because he's a trash talking machine.
Trash talking all day, even to the director. But it's funny though. I don't know, the way Charles is, even if it's Dickie, he's funny, man.
One of those.
So you knew I mean, you were getting the acting work. You were doing what a lot of us, when we first start acting, we'll go in for a lot of commercials and we'll go in for, and you had a skill as far as the basketball. So that's good. Getting some gigs doing commercials.
Yeah.
Tell me how the stunt work started happening, because you do a lot of, you have over your career done a lot of stunt work.
No, I haven't though. That's the thing. I've hardly done any stunt work. That's why when people say that, they're like, "You're a great." I'm like, I'm not a stunt man. So here's how it all worked out. Like, thank God for basketball commercials, because you know that when you're first starting, like, you really can't act, right? You're not a good actor. Some people might be, but I was terrible. I was uncomfortable. But the commercials, because I had a skill, I got in and I was making a living. And back then you could live off a commercial like a whole year, like that's how great
100%. Yeah.
was back then. Things have changed now, unfortunately. So while I was doing that, I was working at Universal, but I was struggling as an actor. I was not booking anything. I would go out for these co-stars and guest star once in a while. And I was like terrified auditioning. I would go in there and I was so freaking so uncomfortable that I was failing big time. So that comfort has taken years to overcome, and I actually like self-tape better, to be honest. Some people don't. I do.
I
My
hate
lovely other co-host is here saying hi to you. Beatrice Buckley, Amanda Kruger. You met her at Phantasm with me.
Yes. Oh, Beatrice, what's up?
I know she's not happy about what you did to her son when she found out, holding Freddy's head like that. I don't know if you saw it, Beatrice. Look at this. He's going to deface. Oh, my God. Look what he's doing to him.
Hi, Beatrice.
Oh, she's going to get you.
Beatrice,
she's going to haunt your dreams.
Beatrice. So you don't like self-tape, huh? You like being
I hate it. I'd much rather, because I mean, we both can work a room, right? So I'd rather go in and work a room, say hello, see who's there. I always look up I always look up who the director is, and if some obscure movie he directed, I'll throw it out there. Man, I really liked, and he go, oh, really?
Yeah,
no one's ever mentioned that.
I think that no, that's great. I think that I would be better at it now than I was years ago, because I went through a long period where I was with an agent. I'm talking like all this chunk of time I've been working where I didn't have somebody that sent me out. Like, I was only bringing in stuff that was offered to me, and I went a long time. So I wasn't auditioning for years. I'd get one a year, So I think now I'd be more comfortable working a room,
I mean, listen, I had the same problems. I mean, I had to work, I worked all the clubs and bars in Hollywood at night just so I could pay my rent, because getting acting gigs and getting comfortable, I was taking acting classes for 15 years and it's not the same thing, what you're learning in class. And then when you go in a room and it's Jerry Seinfeld at the end, and there's 30 writers in there and they're all screaming and yelling. And then they look to you and go, okay, you're ready. And you're like,
dude, people have no, see, we understand. People have no idea. And then it's like something you like, if you don't get a lot of auditions, you like, oh, I want this so bad. And it's hard to, even though you can't like be desperate and you've heard it, you want that role. And then the nerves, and then if there's a room of people, which happens, it's just like, it's a tough thing, man. It's not easy.
Especially for a lot of the stuff that you and I would go in for, right? And still go in for. There'd be 40, 30 guys out there that we all see all the time anyways. And
then there's
guys yelling in.
Yeah, guys yelling inside, and you're like, then there's guys you recognize that are good, and you're like, fuck, that guy's amazing. Oh my God, I'm not gonna get
what am I doing here?
Yeah. You're like, why the fuck is that guy here, dude? Like, guys that you like respect, they may not be like Tom Cruise famous, but they're guys you recognize, even if you don't know their name. You've seen them in a million shit, and here you are, like, already nervous, and they're showing up to the same role, and it's like, it's like nobody knows how hard that life is, man.
They have no
I
idea.
don't
All right,
envy you
well,
guys.
listen, I was totally wrong on the stunts, but I mean, I always thought.
So yeah, I didn't get to the stunt thing. So what happened is when I got Freddy vs. Jason, because I auditioned for the movie, I never had an interest to do stunts, but when my agent was negotiating that, they said, well, we already have a Jason, so we can't give you the credit as Jason. They tried to get me the credit as Jason. So what we'll give you is Jason stunt double, right? Because I did a water thing, but it wasn't even hired through the stunt coordinator. It was hired because I had already auditioned for the whole movie. And then through that, I met the stunt coordinator. And then I did another movie after that called Zathura with Jon Favreau directed. That was my second big thing. And I worked with all these stunt people, and they're talking about, oh my God, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and I got this job tomorrow, and like, oh, they threw me this line, and like I was with them for like 2 months, and they're acting like, yeah, I didn't want to fucking do that line, and I'm like, you don't want to do that line in a movie, and I'm talking about an acting line where they're delivering a line, not a line of fucking coke. They're, you know, just to be clear to people watching, right? So I'm like, this is fucking insane. These guys are talking about like just working like it's no big deal when I'm struggling. And I'm like, well, how do you get into that? Like, I want to get acting roles. So my whole mindset was like, I want to make more money and I want to like get stunt acting roles. And I kind of threw like myself in sort of, but never really wanting to do stunts, only to get an acting job. Get some, and it did open up doors for that kind of stuff. But I always had one foot in, one foot out, because it was always about the acting, and I was always scared to do crazy stunts because I didn't want that. I give it to the stuntmen; they're amazing at what they do, and that's why whenever anyone says it, I'm like, oh, I'm not a stuntman, you know, like I can't do what they could do. So
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'll do some fight scenes. You know, I mean, I've been hurt on the set before. I don't mind doing some fight scenes, but I am so grateful to our you know, the stuntmen and stunt women community out there, because they make us look better.
Absolutely. And that's what I say. It's like, if there's a role where I have to fight and it's a stunt fight, like I'll do that, because if I tweak something or fall, yeah, I could hurt, but I'm not going to die, you know. Like I'm not going to fucking do a high fall and die. Like I'm not doing that. So that to me is considered stunts. Doing a fight and you have an acting role, I mean, it is considered a stunt, but that's not who I consider like what a real stuntman is. Like
Sure.
we're not stuntman, we're actors. Yes,
100%.
I could be physical, but when I'm coming to that role, even if I'm in makeup, its mindset is all on acting. It has nothing to do with the stunts or anything. Yes, I have to do that as a part of it, but it's as the actor, you know.
Well, let's talk a little bit then. I know that I'm not saying this wrong. When you do a lot of what we call in the business creature work as an actor.
And thank you, because I don't like
as
to
an actor.
People say a creature actor. No, I'm not a creature actor.
You're an actor
who's done a lot of creature work, but I'm not a creature actor, because
okay, gotcha.
Labels in Hollywood, they can you know, spin it a different way. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, you've been blessed and gotten to do some pretty cool stuff under makeup, some good roles. I mean, you know, I used to audition for the Grimm series all the time.
Yes.
Could never get anything, and I know you did about 6 or 7 episodes of Grimm.
Yes, and that all came because I did a movie called Star Trek in 2008. It was J.J. Abrams' reboot. And the guy wanted me to play this long-faced bar alien character, Barney Berman. Barney Berman ended up winning the Academy Award for that. And the funny thing is Rob Hall had that show at first, and he lost it.
Rob Hall, who,
yeah,
you know, director and director of Chrome Skull and I had Almost Human, did my makeup on a bunch of stuff, Buffy and Angel and the Crazies, and got me the cover of Fangoria.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So
But
you would have been on that. You would have been on that show if Rob Hall would have continued on there.
it would have been fun. I mean, there's a lot. We both have done a lot of the same shows, and then we both. I mean, you have over 100 acting credits, which is pretty amazing at this time and age. People don't understand how to get 100 acting credits. It takes a while, and that means you stayed the course. Which people say, oh, I mean, acting. People think it's an easy gig, right? You get in, you know some people. No. So far from the truth, like you said.
I know. When people say, oh, you know what, man, I'm thinking, like, people will write me, be like, I'm thinking of trying acting out. I'm gonna like, what do you think? And it's like, try acting out, or I'm gonna do acting on the side. There's no trying it out. There's no acting on the side. It doesn't work. You know, you get a guy who's in his 40s saying he's gonna try it out, you know, and he's gonna be competing against somebody like me who's been doing it for almost 30 years now. It's a grind, dude. It's an art. There's no shortcut to it. You got to go through it to get better at it, you know. But anyways, I'll go back. I didn't finish on that. So Barney Berman took it over from Rob Hall, and he's the one who brought me in on it. And then once I got in and they saw what I could do, they called me back for others. So I bypassed casting. Like, I got to bypass casting, and that was like some of the first times I started to bypass casting, and I said, wow, this is the way to go, man, because casting is a B.
It's a rough,
gosh.
I mean, just the anxiety. And then this is what we have, John. So this is what we have to do, right? You have to go in and audition. Let's say we audition 20, 30 times for something. We may be lucky if we get one gig out of that. And then you got to put it out of your head. You can't think about it, because when I first started acting, especially if it was something I was good for, blue collar truck driver with a flat top, and I didn't get it, I'd be like, why didn't I get that?
This is so nice talking to you, because like we can relate on a whole nother level, dude. Like back then when I was like, oh, I'm going out for a basketball player. Well, I'm a basketball player and I don't get it. And I'm only delivering a couple lines. I'm like, fuck, I'm terrible. I suck. You know? And then the worst part is you tell everybody that you're auditioning for it. So then my dad's going, why didn't you get that? Wow, you're good. That's why, you know, and then you got to hear it again and revisit it. And it just messes with your brain, dude.
Totally. I mean, it's tough to get it. It's tough. Well, you think about it, right? So then you're, you know, and then the worst thing they can do to you is put you on a veil.
Oh,
I don't want to know about it. Just if I get the gig, tell me. But then they put you on a veil, John, and your agent calls you, says you're on a veil. And you're like,
yes. So
well, is that first a veil or what is it? Because there's a different, right? But they just say you're on a veil. So there's probably 4 guys on a veil. And one of those guys they really want. But if he doesn't say yes, then they'll go down the line. So the worst thing is for my agent to tell me I'm on a veil and then I don't get it. Because now you're thinking about it. Ooh, I got to make sure I have those days off. And
because a veil, guys, a veil is like they're checking your availability. They're interested in you, but you think it's only you, and then you learn that, oh, they have a list and you don't know where you're on the list, and they got the first guy, and it's like he said, if somebody's not available that date, then they already have their backup and so on. So when you hear that, like, it's so hard to get to that point that you're like, you're beyond, oh my God, yes, please, please, please. And then it doesn't happen, which happened. You're devastated. You're like, oh, fuck, man.
Well, like you said, you got to be available those days. And then the fact you're waiting, you could be missing out other opportunities. I don't envy that at all.
No, it's not that. Back then, it's not about missing opportunities. It's about the fact that you've gotten to the point where they're actually considering you. We're talking back in the day. So you're so beyond excited because you go so many months without anything, and then it doesn't happen. It's devastating. It's not about, oh, I got this, I missed out on this. That's how it is now, but it wasn't 25 years ago. You know,
I could see it being a real you have to be strong in the head to be an actor.
You do, bro.
Sense.
But it messes with me, man.
You gotta be a little nuts. Let's be honest. There's got to be a little craziness in you.
I think so.
A lot of therapy sessions, I could see.
Oh, dude.
So, I mean, you love the acting. I mean,
yeah, I do.
Talk about some of them. I mean, you've been in some iconic movies. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, a lot of the horror stuff that I love, you know, the Freddy versus Jason, the Halloween Kills, Hellboy, you know, and I can't even say the name of that. Is it Grugach?
Grugach, yes.
Grugach.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Grugach was that was a tough one. That was almost 4 months in Bulgaria. And I was with Mila Jovovich the whole time, and David Harborough, and we were both up there, and it was in the middle of, it went from October till September till December. So it went from good weather to cold. And that suit was so hot, and it had an animatronic head. It was like this pig character. And Mila Jovovich was in a tight, see-through dress. So she was freezing on set, and I was beyond hot. And she would ask them to turn up these jet propulsion heaters. So I went to a whole nother level of like heat exhaustion, and I couldn't tell her that I'm hot because she was freezing and she's the lead. And it was just the eyes I would see out of the mouth, right? And my eyes were up here. So if I looked up so that I could see straight, my eyes would be at the ceiling. So I had to look on the floor. So I couldn't see, I couldn't breathe well, I couldn't hear because they had animatronics. I was sweating my ass off. I broke out in acne. I mean, this is the stuff. It was not a fun thing. But when you're in a scene with all that going on and all the pain, and I'm fighting David Harborough and we're delivering lines together, I mean, it was like you lose it all. Like there's nothing else but that. So all that pain in the end is worth it. You know?
Yeah, I like the Hellboy. I thought your character was really cool. I didn't realize you were it until I was like, oh man, I didn't realize he was Gulak, or I always mispronounce his name in the Hellboy remake. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a really cool character, man. That was other than the sweating and being uncomfortable in there and the zits you got. I mean, it had to be a fun
other than almost dying and
other than, well, you know, it's good practice, you know, you get that heat build up, but that had to be a lot of fun though. I mean, working with David Harborough, the way it's,
I mean, it was so cool because it was, I think, the second season of Stranger Things was about to come out, and he's like, guys, I got the whole season before it drops. And they had a theater at the studio we're shooting at, and he had it sent to the theater and invited us. So we saw the whole Stranger Things with him at the theater. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a hot show. That must have been fun getting that sneak peek
one of the hottest
with the star.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so, that was. Yeah.
When you get acting gigs, I mean, do you look at it like I do? I get excited when I get to work with somebody. You know, I mean, once I get a gig, I'm on. You know, obviously, I'm like, okay, great. You know, maybe I can pay my insurance this year. That's how you know if if you ask somebody if they've made their insurance. And then that's how we used to know if someone is actually getting acting gigs, because you have to make so much, $28,000, I think, acting to get your insurance. But do you look at it like I'm excited because I'm getting to work with a David or Robert Englund or other people like that?
Absolutely, especially people like for instance Robert Englund. You know, like when you grow up and you're watching somebody, and then now you're on set with him. That's pretty badass, dude. You know, especially if you were a fan. And David Harborough, you know, I didn't grow up watching him, but like he became famous, and then here I am on set acting opposite him. It makes you go, oh, I could actually do this. Okay. Because when you're with somebody like that, it almost validates that I belong here. Because sometimes as actors, when we're not working for a long time, you feel like, oh man, I mean, I'm being real. Like it can hit you like, God, am I not good enough? Like, why am I, you know, that stuff is real. So, you know, when you get something like that, it really is a confidence boost because you're like, no, I belong here, man. I mean, some people just get a lucky break. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, you don't know how many famous actors say that all it takes is talent and some luck. I mean, so many people say that. So getting the opportunity to do that, yes, it's very exciting. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean, being as athletic as you are, because you're still athletic. We love your shorts. I mean, that's one of the big things, all the
My
shorts you make.
shorts?
Yeah, you're not the ones you wear, but the clips you make on Instagram and
Oh,
stuff.
I was
Oh
like,
my God.
dude, I don't remember
Well,
wearing shorts.
you're an
around.
athletic guy on top, and you're a funny guy. You got a great sense of humor and a talented actor. It's got to be helpful with you know, even playing the Jack Links Sasquatch or any of these roles that you're playing, the athletic attributes that you have. It's got to play a lot where people are like, well, you know, we could bring him on. He's a talented actor. He's got the size. Doesn't have to be in a mask. He's not a stuntman, but he does have the ability to physically pull off more than just delivering lines. He's got the mannerisms that he's able to do. And the fact that you do comedy, the athleticness, the acting chops, and being, you know, pretty funny guy, athletic guy, it's got to blend real well for acting.
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
No,
I
appreciate you saying all those things. That's very nice of you. And that means a lot. I think the athletic stuff definitely has played a huge role in the stuff I've done because, you know, so much of that is physical. And then having being an actor for so long, it totally informs, you know, using both. So, you know, Brett was an athlete too. So he's done a lot of stuff, roles he got because he was an athlete. Unfortunately, he had to get hurt on Leatherface because if that went through, I mean, who knows how much huge shit he would have gotten. It's just like I said, that was a bad luck thing that happened. So it absolutely, everything you're saying informs it. I did improv for years and, you know, all of it helps. But yeah, the athleticism has been a big part of my career. And I like how you said with action and being an athlete, even though some of it might be stunts, that's the way I describe myself. I'm an actor who can do action because I'm an athlete. And then I'm honest about what I can't do. Like I can't do high falls and, you know,
that's a tough thing too. A lot of people, John, they won't, you know, I mean, when I first started acting, they always said, never say no. You know, don't say no. If you get, if someone asks you something, you say yes. But as you get older, as you get older, you realize, and especially after you've gotten hurt a time or two on the set, you go, hey, look if you're honest, they'd rather have you be honest. So you can say, no, I can't do that. No, I can't. Look, I'm 55 years old. I watch, you know, Doug will sometimes do some videos showing himself doing some yoga in his hotel room or doing something like where you're kicking I'm like, man, I wish I could move like that. But yeah, it's definitely better to be honest as an actor, whether you're beginning or whether, you know, you're my age or Doug's age. Yeah. You got to be honest, man, because if you're not, something could happen. You could get hurt. And God forbid you ever experience getting hurt on a major motion picture because you did something stupid, because then you got to live with that. And then to get that out of your head is very tough. You know, to move on to the next thing, which you have to do if you want to be an actor and entertainer, you got to be able to get it out of your head and move on.
Yeah, it's so true, man. And honestly, even if you're young, you have to be honest when it comes to stunts. Because if somebody brings you on and you get hurt or you hurt somebody else or you cause the production, it can be like a lawsuit for the stunt coordinator. Because that's why it's still like the last thing one of the last things maybe with Teamsters where it's a very buddy system in the stunt world. Like it's not like acting where it's like, well, we gotta, you know, get this in and that, and it's like, no, it's about the safety. So no woke crap or none of that plays in the stunt world. You know?
Yeah. And those coordinators, so you don't want a coordinator, especially a stunt coordinator, saying, hey, you don't want to hire Doug, you don't want to hire Brett because they're a loose cannon, because like he said, it's a small community. You know, casting directors, it's a small community too. So you got to be careful. As I've said before, you go in for an audition, that lady answering that phone in a year, maybe, you know, casting for a major production company or studio. Now, humor. I want to talk about the humor with you, because you're a very funny guy, and a lot of people don't understand humor. But do you love? I mean, you gotta love when you're getting a gig where you get to be funny.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing. That's why I put that. You know, honestly, that's why I put out a lot of the videos I put out, so that I can show my comedy. Because sometimes it's very subtle and people don't get it. Sometimes when I'm joking, I'm being real, and people like will message me, "Are you okay? Is everything?" You know, so the thing with the comedy is I don't get cast in those types of things a lot unless it's my friends giving it to me. So those little shorts and reels, it's my chance to like do something that I think is funny, you know. And if people don't get it or enjoy it, oh well, but I appreciate you guys saying that you get some of them.
Oh, we love them, man. I'm telling you, but it does exactly what you're saying though, because you're a tall guy. You get, you know, you play a great Michael Myers. You got the look. So when you're doing, say, a skit as Michael Myers, you already know people already know you can play a Michael Myers or Jason.
Yeah.
You got that look. But being able to show that you had a sense of humor with it, that you can put, like Michael Toth was saying, we'd love to watch a full movie of you doing funny shit as Michael Myers, because it does show your comedy and almost like a David Howard Thornton, where he doesn't even use his voice because you're Michael Myers, but it's showing your physical comedy, which I think goes a long way. And you are
I
a talented actor on top.
Then it's good to hear that, because it's like sometimes, you know, I don't know, but I think it's funny. So I like to hear that you guys get.
Oh, love it. Like if I don't see it, Michael Toth, who does all the art, he did that Sasquatch picture that I gave you.
Oh, nice.
That's nice. Michael Toth there.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool, Mike. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we wrote each other. Okay, now I know. I didn't put two and two together. Okay. I know who he is.
Hilarious. We'd love to see a full-length video of a movie of you kind of doing like a day in the life of Michael Myers or something, just going around. I mean, they're great. They're fantastic. And you've done some physical things with it. I mean, the shorts. And you can tell that you're not just doing it. Yeah, you're doing it because they're fun and you think they're funny clips.
Yeah.
But you genuinely love acting. You genuinely can see that you love what you're doing. And it looks like you're just having so much fun making these clips.
Yeah.
And it shines.
No, and I appreciate that. And to be honest with you, it kind of started during the pandemic, because I was going freaking crazy. I was like, I need to be on a set, because I was going back to back to back working, and I was on a show. So I was on a show for 4 or 5 seasons. And then when the pandemic hit, it was like, now I can't work. So that was my way of going, okay, man, I got to do something. I have an idea. Let me set the camera up and just, you know, do it, you know. So that's when it kind of started. And then I realized, wow, I could create stuff too and have fun. And that's what I do sometimes. Still, I don't have as much time as during the pandemic, but once in a while I'll throw stuff out there still.
I think you should keep doing it, because honestly, shorts with YouTube or even Instagram, those things get a lot of views, a lot of clicks, and people's attention span for, say, 2-3 minutes seems to be a lot more nowadays than, say, 35, 40 an hour, you know.
You got it has to be, man. Those clips have to be short. I realize that nobody wants to watch. Even 2 minutes sometimes is too long, you know. Now it's like 15-30 seconds. It's like boom, you know.
Oh wait, I can't watch this. It's 45 seconds. I ain't got time for that.
There's the new thing, 2 minutes with Doug Tait. It's a new show.
Our generation, what I realize is, like, on Facebook, our generation will watch longer, but you get into like TikTok, forget about it, dude. It's like 5 seconds, you know, like the stuff that I post on Facebook compared to like a TikTok. Like, it's so weird. It's like the younger generation has they need to see things happen. Boom, let's go. We can watch a little and get the build up and enjoy that. They can't. They don't
It's just
have
different now. It's so different.
different. It's
Mike
because
said he watched
they're
this.
getting served content so fast.
Yeah.
We grew up watching TV with 3 channels.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna say, yeah.
they're getting
Yeah.
like stuff thrown at them, like, I don't like that. Let me flip that. You know, like we didn't have that. So the mind starts to, you know, wants things coming at you, you know.
Everything
like
was such an event.
We
Everything
had
was
two.
an event.
We had on TV. We had select TV when I was a kid. That's what your choices were for. And then if I was lucky, the parents, when they'd go out to dinner, I'd watch the scrambled porn stuff, and you couldn't really make it out, but you were like, okay. Anyways,
oh yeah,
you'd see a nip.
Oh,
You'd see a nip.
dude, I got a booby, a wiggly booby.
So let's talk about, you have over the last couple of years, besides making your own funny content for folks to watch, you started producing, you started writing, and you started directing.
Yes, and my film is being sold right now. I can't talk about it because it's in the stages, so it will be out this year. It will be out, and I can't say the exact date. Yeah. So
now your wife is an actress, if folks don't know, Isabel Cueva. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you get to can't talk about it, but you get to direct your wife. What is that, working with family? Is that cool, or is it a lot of pressure?
Huh? Hello?
Oh yeah, sorry. Is it fun?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
It was the greatest experience of my life.
Nothing brought you guys
so
closer.
Much. I want to do it every day.
All right. Well, let's talk about the directing, because I mean, can you see yourself, you know, over the next couple of years? Is this something you'd like to do? I mean,
oh yeah, I'm doing it. I already have another film that I'm actually going to Tijuana next month to meet with a very big person there. His family pretty much runs Tijuana, and not in a drug cartel way as government people, but he wants to do a film and finance it, and we already have the script, me and my friend as a producer, and we're going to meet with him soon. So I'm excited because like it's going to be nice because we're going to be able to access Tijuana and San Diego. My friend is from San Diego, so he has so many locations there. And then we get TJ, the production value we're going to get, because this guy owns the city. It's going to give us so much. And if he funds it, he's got a lot of money. We could do it for a good budget, but not crazy. And all that production value will add so much to the film. So I'm going to direct that. Yeah.
That's awesome. And just think about all the good actors that you know.
Yes.
That know their way around TJ.
Okay, well that's good to know, and also knowing Phi Core, because that's kind of the way I want to go. Like with the thing, I don't want to deal with you know, unions on this, because since we're shooting in TJ, the red tape on that will be too much, you know.
Now, I want to talk about Jack Links a little bit. Now, John was telling me that you saved him at a convention because you kept feeding him some Jack Links jerky, because he was struggling. It was a long day. He was hungry, and he said, "Oh man, your boy hooked me up."
Yeah, he's like, "You need some jerky, turkey." And
dude,
yeah,
I'm so happy that I did that. I forgot I gave it to you, because so what happened, that was awesome. So I play the Jack Links Sasquatch, for those of you that don't know. Oh, new commercials dropping next week. Next week. And dude, I got one of them, Brett. I can't wait for you to see it, because there's something that relates to you. So I can't say though. Yes, I do that. And that is such an awesome job. And I love the people. And we were doing Minnesota Crypticon, and Jack Links is based in Minnesota. So for the first time ever, I went to their facility, met everybody. They have a full-size Sasquatch, the same one as me, like well done one from Legacies Effects. So they donated a ton of stuff, jerky, gear. I had a life-size cutout of me. I mean, it was pretty special, you know.
I mean, you know, it's one of those things. Sometimes people get, you know, we get lucky. You'll see them in commercials, you know, Flo
Yeah.
from Progressive. It's Doug Tait, this Jack Links Sasquatch. I mean, how many years have you been doing this now?
I've been doing it since 2015. I took it over. Yes.
That's amazing. That's great. And they're
so
always
much,
fun.
yes,
And you can see your humor. You know, I can see your humor.
Thank you. See this, you guys are like, we got to do this more often, man. You guys are like making me feel great. I hope that my humor comes out with that character, because I do love it and I enjoy it when I'm doing it. And it is a very difficult character, but it's like I said before, when I'm in that scene, man, I could be like, we just shot, like I was in Bulgaria a month ago, right? And we shot them there because they save money. And it's a 17-hour flight to Bulgaria. It's 11-hour time change. They love SAS, see? And then once you get there, I'm only there a week, right? So there's no getting acclimated. I have to work and I'm on a different time zone, right? So there was times when I was literally standing, falling asleep in the makeup while I'm on set, waiting for them to call me, falling asleep. Like my head was going down. I had to like, and you know, there comes a certain point where coffee doesn't even work anymore. Like it actually makes it worse, right? And I was at that point. And once they call me in, take goes, fuck, you know, bring it. The excitement comes up. I don't know how I do it, because there's times when I'm laying in bed so exhausted going, I gotta fucking work tomorrow. How am I gonna do it, dude? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna literally die. I literally feel like that sometimes. But then it just happens, man. So going back to that, I appreciate you saying that, because I do put a lot of my personality in that, I feel, you know. And also, as Brett would know, like, we don't get chances to play characters ongoing. We do our thing, we're done, that's it. This has been the first time where I've played something for so many years where I get on set and it's improv. There's no like, oh, I got to walk this way. Oh, I got to do all that is like in me. It's like me shooting hoops. Like I can go out there and do stuff and I don't even have to think, because it's so ingrained in me from so many years. That's how Sasquatch is. And that's what makes it so fun. Is like, it's just coming from me. It's improv, you know? So
even when you took over the role in 2015, did you realize how big it'd kind of be part of your career and how ongoing it'd keep going?
No,
In
I
the sense,
didn't.
I
No,
mean,
I knew the character and I loved it, and you know,
yeah,
so many people knew the commercial, so I knew it was a big thing and I was very excited about it. So it was very important to me. But the first commercials I shot in South Africa when I took it over, I was very like stiff and I was like doing everything to like be like the other guy, you know, because that's what they
yeah.
wanted. They didn't want it to change. And I understood that because he did a great job. And then once I started to, you know, get their respect and they liked what I was doing, it just kind of became more me, you know.
Oh, you definitely see a
That's,
lot of your personality in that character in those
yeah,
commercials. It's a lot of fun. I mean, they're probably the funniest commercials on TV, at least consistently on TV. They're
yeah.
ones that
Wait till
most
you
people
see
won't
these
change
new
the channel.
ones, dude.
I'm
Guys,
excited.
stick to my pages, because like it's coming out literally next week. They emailed me yesterday, so I'm pumped, because dude, these are the craziest ones I've ever done. And that's saying a lot. I've done some wild. These ones are wacky. I mean, they're wacky in a cool way.
Well, if this one's wacky, and you're saying it's wacky because the other ones, they're just off the wall wacky,
I
but
know.
great.
But that's
Messing
what I
with
love.
Sasquatch
That's
is
what
a
I
bad
love about.
idea.
That's what I love about the company, is they're not doing what everybody else is doing, and that's what separates them, and that's exciting to me, you know, because commercials are boring, most of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're almost like Super Bowl commercials every time that there's a Sasquatch commercial. They kind of go all out, whether it's gluing a dime to the ground or something and him trying to pick it up, and just off the wall comedy things they do. I mean, as an actor, and like you said, there's a lot of you and what you put into the character, and it evolved since you've taken over. I mean, that's just hilarious what they put together and what you
I
do.
appreciate you guys saying that, man. That I mean, as Brett knows, that means everything when people like.
Oh
what you
yeah,
do.
listen. I mean, because we don't get to, you know, it's not that you hardly ever get accolades, especially in stuff that me and Doug will do, right? I mean, the accolades, they're on, you know, this Sunday night, and they're all this other stuff, and these people, and you know, we don't get to go to the gifting suites, and we don't. I mean, I don't know if Doug
You know
does.
what we do? You know where we do get the accolades, though? Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Conventions.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh,
where we
very
get
good.
the
Yes,
accolades.
nice segue, Doug.
We don't get the accolades from our peers necessarily, but we do. We're in a very special place, Brett, if you think about it. That people appreciate us at these shows. You know.
Oh, I agree. I mean, listen, it's some of the people, especially that, you know, whether you're doing a Comic-Con, whether you're doing like we're doing Horror Hound coming up, whether you're doing you know, I do record store appearances out there in Arizona at Asylum Records, and someone comes up and wants an autograph from you, or wants a Funko Pop signed, or just wants a picture with you. Yes, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right, that someone will remember me. And then, you know, some obscure thing when they sit there and they say, "Oh man, I loved you on Hannah Montana" or something, and I'm like,
dude,
Hannah Montana.
Every time there's an obscure throw out there, you're like, what? You saw that? How did you know? It's just like something they saw as a kid or whatever that like, and then they looked you up and were like, oh dude, I remember, you know, or whatever it is. It's cool. It's nice.
Well, you know, the fans are always genuine. I mean, there's no faking it where when you're getting apart or you're out there, I'm sure on a job, oh, they'll kiss your butt or whatever. But you know, when the fans are spending their money to come see you, get an autograph, and you're the type of guy, Doug, too. And I've had a chance to spend, you know, 2 different conventions together and talk to you at separate times, where you sit there and you take your time with each person that comes, and you'll just treat them like family, and that goes a long way with the fans.
Well, you know what? I don't even see it that way. I see it as they're giving me as much as maybe I'm giving them, because they're coming at me with such genuine love that, like, how could I not appreciate that? So it's not about, oh, I'm going to be cool with these people, so they buy my headshot for me. It's like, dude, like you guys right now telling me you like stuff I do. I'm like, fuck, thank you, man. That's all I want to hear.
Well, you definitely, you could tell you
know,
you could definitely tell it's genuine when you're dealing with people. I've seen you with different people at 2 different events, and you can see how much you enjoy it just as much as they do.
Brett is the same way, and you're the same
he is
too. So we're all the same in that sense.
Well, look at we're blessed. I'm blessed to be able to, in 2 weeks, to go back to Horror Hound and have a good time and see some of our peers, and be able to have, you know, shake some hands and, you know, kiss some babies, and you know, and get rid of some stuff and buy some. I mean, I'm a fan. I know Doug's a fan as well. I will go to these other actors that are at some of these conventions, and my wife will give me stuff to go take. You got to go get this signed.
Your wife is a collector for sure. I'm
not She'll track Doug down.
I'm not a I got some new stuff that I haven't signed for her.
Okay, cool.
She brings out obscure stuff though. Like she'll have stuff I'm like, whoa, where did you print that out from? You know?
Yeah, but so what is coming up for Doug Tait? What do you got going on besides the movie you guys that you directed and your wife starred in, that you're trying to get sold right now? And what's coming up for you?
So I just got a job. I'm leaving for Mexico City in a couple weeks. And then after that, it's for an Apple TV show, Apple show. Not TV, Apple. And then right after that, I'm doing something very special for horror fans. I'm doing a film, and I can't announce it because he's supposed to announce it any day now, and he hasn't yet. And I don't want to ruin it to anybody that's watching this, because, you know, he wouldn't want me to do that. But I'm doing a special film and a really special role in that film in next month too. And then I'm going to Puerto Rico for another Jack Links shoot.
Oh wow, Sasquatch on the beach.
I know, dude.
I mean,
and I haven't been there, so I'm getting to go to all these places, and then I got a ton of conventions. I'm doing Horror Hound, I'm doing Mad Monster Party, I'm doing Spookala, I'm doing Crypticon, I'm probably doing Monster Palooza. So I got a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm very excited about it. And I mean, as you know, Brett, you know, you're always traveling and stuff. We're going to places where I would never go to. Like I did 3 haunted houses. Brett did like 15 haunted houses last year. That was the funnest stuff ever, because I'm a guest at a haunted house, and I'm such a huge haunted house fan. I even shot a pilot about people working at haunted houses. It's a comedy that I want to sell someday, based off my experience working there. So I get to go to all over the place and enjoy a haunted house and meet people from all over. I mean, it's awesome, man.
You're also doing when you are doing some of these appearances. I mean, Doug is a safe bet when they need someone to go do the news. So I know I've been seeing you doing some news channels, some radio interviews. Do you like getting in there?
I do. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, if there's any news stuff, like I want to do it, because that stuff is like, the reach that stuff has is so huge that every time I do those, not only is it just good for me as an actor to talk, but it also brings a lot of more people out. And then and when you're willing to do those things, the promoters and stuff love that stuff, because it's like, dude, they're not even asking me to do it, and I'm telling them. It just opens up a lot more, drives a lot more people in, which is what they're trying to do with that, you know.
Oh, it's a good experience.
It is.
I always tell them, I say, look, you got radio. You want to set up radio interviews a week before. I'll fly in a day early if I can. If you want to do morning news on Friday before we start. I mean, I love to do it. It's, as you said, it reaches more people. It may get someone excited to come down. It may someone that would never ever in their life go to a convention. You know?
Those radio shows and you know, those stuff, people are still listening to those in their cars, especially when you're doing it from a small town. Like, it reaches the entire town. I had people coming out going, wow, we didn't even know about this haunted house, and we lived here all our lives, but we heard that somebody from a movie we like is going to be here, and here you are. This is amazing. You know, like, that stuff is golden, dude. It's gold. It's amazing.
Marketing, man, and letting people know, because people don't hear it. Yeah,
they don't hear. You think they think that they're getting it out by posting a couple flyers and on their Facebook, and they do drive people out, but it gets a whole another crowd out, you know. And a lot of the shows we go to, the conventions, they don't normally do that unless it's maybe with like a Robert Englund or something. So I did it a lot on those haunted houses because I was going to like a smaller community. And since it's just me and not a whole convention, they would just bring me in. It was great.
Yeah, I love haunted houses and stuff like that, man. I miss them when they're at the end of October, and I look forward to them right after October until they come back up, because there's some awesome ones, man. Especially nowadays, next level. Level of list.
And and actually, Brett, I'm gonna refer him for one I did last year in Alabama. You know, they're just cool because I would never fly to the tip of Alabama to be in this World War II hospital for the South soldiers, you know, that's turned into a haunted house. Like, why would I ever be there? You know.
Well, you also went to the one where the whole town comes out, right? The whole town's a part of it.
That is it. It literally has one street light. I came in on a fire truck where the whole police were my escort and the firemen. I mean, growing up in LA, that is insane. Like, they have one street light, yet the entire, and people from other surrounding places come. I mean, it took, like, they said that was their busiest night. It took like, they had to go overboard. They went to like 3 in the morning to get the whole line through. It was awesome, you know? 7-hour waits for people in line. That's crazy for a small town like that. You couldn't even bring people out in LA wouldn't have gotten that kind of a line for a haunted house.
That's tough. Well, that's because it's the power of Doug Tait, and Doug, we appreciate. Listen, I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you coming on the show and being able to BS with us. You're a good guy. You're one of the good guys in the business, and I hope people see that. You're one of the funny guys in the business, and hopefully we'll get to work together, not just doing the conventions, and maybe you can direct me coming up in something you want. I'm ready for that. But if folks want to be able to see what you do and follow you, where can they go?
Well, I'm on all of the stuff. Actor Douglas Tait, Instagram, Douglas Tait, Facebook, Actor Douglas Tait, TikTok. I don't really do Twitter. Those are like the main ones. So, yeah, I mean, just follow me on there and I'll be posting on where I'm going to be at, my movie, and Sasquatch, and the short reels that we talked about, right?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely follow Doug. He's a lot of fun. You won't be disappointed. On Twitter, Facebook, you got the page. Check him out. Going to be seeing you Crypticon Denver. You're going to be seeing Brett a few times this year. And you never know. You might get announced at some of the other conventions I'm going to. I got like 6 lined up this year and probably more. Brett keeps trying to encourage me. He's a bad influence, but I got the bug too of just.
Well, dude, you got one of my favorite vendor setups, dude. This guy's got the coolest stuff. I told him that, like, nobody has the masks and heads that you have, bro. I told you that. I'm like, you like are next level. Like, if you go to Monster Palooza, you're gonna see the best stuff. But when you go to the cons we're going to, you don't see that kind of stuff, you know.
I got to give credit to all the talented people that I've met in the horror community, and it's an honor showing all their.
Yeah, but you know what? You have a good. The difference is with you is you have the eye. You recognize what's great, and you don't put shitty stuff on your stuff. Like, there's a lot of not to crap on anybody, but you walk around some of the shows and the vendors and you're just like, oh, it's just the shirt, it's the same old stuff. Oh, and then one pops out where you're like, whoa, that guy's a great artist. But a lot of it is just stuff anybody could buy, and you're like, I could just get that off Amazon, but your stuff isn't that. So
it's a thrill. Like true. I said, so much talent, and I've been lucky enough to meet, whether it's artists, mask makers, sculptors, it doesn't matter. It's so much fun to put on the tables for me. Not so much putting up the tables, that's a lot of work, but it is fun once they're all set.
The travel and the setup for you sucks, but it's the show is all worth it. I mean, I wouldn't have met you if we didn't go to a show together. So
yeah, we got Phantasm was great. It was a smaller show, but it was really cool because we got to sit down and talk for a while. It was right at the hotel.
It wasn't a great money show, but it was people were nice.
Yeah, it was really cool sitting. Hey, I got to have a few beers with you. Chris Duran, Chris Nelson.
Chris Duran I met there. I got to hang with Chris Nelson. We went to Universal Studios. I mean, that was cool.
I heard about that story. That was pretty funny.
Oh, when Chris was telling you about it.
Yeah. I was dying that night. They were talking
Chris
about
was
it.
Killing me when he was I was there when he was telling that story. He was so funny.
Because he was pissed on top, but it was funny.
He was pissed, but he didn't tell us that. But then he acted like he was telling us he was in pain, but he did it in such a humorous way. I know. Anyway,
it was a great time. It's always, we got to have you back on again. I'm excited to see Crypticon. I'm excited to see Brett. Me and Brett got like 3 shows that we're both at, and counting. Hopefully, this Wednesday I got to announce the DK and the B show. DK and the Bees Horror Buzz. We got Al Havens and Alex Alexis from Night of the Demons. That's going to be a fun show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got Brett's dog and Dee Dee out there. How you guys? And yeah, can't thank you enough, Doug, and can't thank my co-host enough. It was a fun show.
You say hi.
And we'll see you. Oh, I'll let you end it there, Brett.
Well, listen, I'm glad we got all that squared away, and I'm glad I didn't screw up too much tonight. But having actor and director Doug Tait on tonight is amazing. And Doug, you're a good dude, and all the success that you have earned it, and much more success to you. And we will see you in a couple of weeks at Horror Hound. And congratulations on all the success. And man, keep it up.
Back at you, dude. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys are awesome.
That's Doug Tait.
Brother.
That's Doomsday's Krypt right there. This is Shootin the Shizz with DK and the Schwag. And we'll see you next time, folks.